Well, guys, fresh off the press, Leaving Cert English Paper 1, the very first paper on the exam, and the great news, and maybe the only news we need to start with, no surprises. Really nice paper. As an English teacher for way too long, this is exactly as we would have taught it and exactly as we would have wanted it to appear. So 2 hours and 50 minutes, literally just finished there a few minutes ago. The theme for the paper, as you might have seen, was perspectives, and that's on the opening. Maybe you saw that, maybe you didn't, but that's what the whole exam was about. Let's get into the comprehensions. Comprehending question A, really nice. 3 options to choose from. We had one text which was about the underdog. We had the second text which was Margaret Atwood, who's the famous author of The Handmaid's Tale. And we had the third text which was the novel Orbital. The 3 parts, as we would have taught them, 15, 15 and 20 marks. The first question, a general question asking you for 3 points. The second part, this is where the slight change was. Instead of asking for 3 points, they only asked for 2. Fine if you wrote 3 anyway, if that's the way your brain was programmed, it won't count against you. And then the last one, which is the writer style question, 4 parts. Very happy with the writer style question. That's the hardest one of the 3. And look, each one allowed you scope to pick your own areas of APAIM, which we call them, but the 5 categories of language. So whatever 4 elements you picked, they're there in each of the texts, and really nice question. The 3 question B's then, we had let me just remind myself, we had the talk of a pre-match team talk. That was an original, that was a nice one. 3 parts. Again, just like we teach it, there was no changes there. You've got 3 tasks to do. The second one was the online response, also 3 parts, just like we would have taught it. And then the third one was the podcast, in which you had to write a reflection, also 3 tasks to do there. And that's as we would have taught it, and you would have learnt it as well. So really nice variety there, lovely selection, nothing to be concerned about it. No surprises like a few years ago when they started asking you about paper 2 in paper 1 and stuff. Really nice. And then on to the most important question on the exam, right, which is our composition. And exactly as it's been for the last 5 years, 7 options, 2 short stories for the last 5 years, 2 short stories in this paper, 2 personal essays, 2 personal essays here. And then we made it up with our 1 article, 1 speech and 1 discursive essay. 2 really nice options there in the short story and the personal essay. It had perhaps a more trickier wording of a question, and then also a very simple and straightforward wording. It's the same for the personal essay. It had one there about reflecting on disappointments in life, and then another one which was a little bit more difficult, which asked you about to reflect on the idea of voting and elections and things like that. But look, plenty of choice, no surprises. That's what you would hope for a paper 1, get you all off to a really positive start. And I would be expecting students to do really well in that exam. So well done, 1 down, onwards and upwards.